Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in today. I want to take a moment to talk about something that's not just important, but essential. Voting. Yes, I know, it's that time again, and I can already hear some of you groaning. But hear me out. This isn't just another lecture about civic duty. This is about you, me, and all of us coming together to shape the future we want to see. So let's dive in. First off, let's get one thing straight. Your vote matters. I can't stress this enough. Every time you cast your ballot, you're making your voice heard. You're saying, this is what I believe in. This is what I want for my community, my state, my country. And that's powerful. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the noise of politics, the endless debates, and the barrage of opinions on social media. But at the end of the day, when you step into that voting booth, it's just you and your choices. There's no one else telling you how to vote. It's your moment to express what you care about. Now, let's talk about the issues. Whether it's healthcare, education, climate change, or social justice, these are not just abstract concepts. They're real-life challenges that affect you and your loved ones every single day. When you vote, you're not just choosing a candidate, you're choosing a direction for these issues. You're standing up for the things that matter to you. And let's be real. If you don't vote, you're letting someone else decide those issues for you. That's a lot of power to hand over, isn't it? So take that power back. Take control of your future. And I know, some of you might be thinking, but my vote doesn't count. That's a myth, folks. Every election, especially local ones, can be decided by just a handful of votes. Your vote could be the one that tips the scale. Think about that for a second. The next time you feel like skipping the polls because you think it won't make a difference, remember that every single vote counts. It's like that old saying, if you don't vote, you're voting for the status quo. Do you want things to stay the same? Or do you want to see change? If it's change you're after, then you need to show up. And let's not forget about the sacrifices made for our right to vote. Generations before us fought hard to secure this fundamental right. They marched, they protested, they endured hardships so that we could have a say in our democracy. We owe it to them and to ourselves to honor that legacy by participating in the electoral process. It's not just a right, it's a responsibility. It's a chance to honor their struggle and to ensure that future generations have the same opportunity to make their voices heard. Now, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about the aftermath of voting, the results. We all know that elections can be tense and emotions can run high. It's natural to feel excited, anxious, or even frustrated as the results come in. But here's the thing, no matter what happens, we need to remember that we are all Americans. We may have different views, different backgrounds, and different beliefs, but at the end of the day, we share the same home. We're all in this together. When the results are announced, I urge you to stay calm and respectful. It's easy to get caught up in the moment and let emotions take over, but let's not forget that we're part of a larger community. If your candidate wins, celebrate, but do so with grace. If they don't, it's okay to feel disappointed. But let's channel that energy into constructive dialogue instead of division. We need to remember that our democracy is built on the foundation of respect and understanding. It's about listening to one another, even when we disagree. Let's also remember that the world is watching us. How we respond to the results reflects not just on us as individuals, but on our country as a whole. We have an opportunity to set an example of civility and respect, regardless of the outcome. So, let's take a deep breath, hold our heads high, and remember that we are all Americans, united by our shared values and our commitment to a better future. And while we're on the subject of unity, let's talk about the importance of community. When you vote, you're not just voting for yourself, you're voting for your neighbours, your friends, your family. You're voting for the person who works at the local diner, the kid down the street who dreams of going to college, the elderly couple who's lived in your neighbourhood for decades. Your vote impacts real lives. It's a reminder that we're all interconnected and that our choices have the power to uplift or hinder those around us. So, as we approach Election Day, I encourage you to engage with your community. Talk to your friends and family about the issues that matter to you. Share your thoughts, listen to theirs, and have those conversations that might feel uncomfortable but are necessary. Let's break down the barriers that divide us and find common ground. You might be surprised by how much you have in common with someone who seems to have a completely different perspective. It's all about understanding and empathy. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by the political landscape, remember that it's okay to take a step back. Consume information mindfully. Seek out sources that present facts rather than just opinions. Engage with content that encourages critical thinking rather than fear-mongering. And most importantly, take care of your mental health. It's easy to get lost in the chaos, but remember to find moments of peace and clarity amidst the noise. As we gear up for the elections, let's also talk about accessibility. It's crucial that every American has the opportunity to vote. If you know someone who might have difficulty getting to the polls, reach out, offer a ride, help them navigate the voting process, or simply encourage them to make their voice heard. The more people who participate, the stronger our democracy becomes. Let's lift each other up and ensure that everyone has a seat at the table. And for those of you who might be feeling disenfranchised or disillusioned, I want to remind you that change doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and persistence. But every step you take towards voting, every conversation you have about the issues, every time you engage with your community, you're contributing to that change. You're part of a larger movement, and your voice matters. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. As we approach election night, let's also prepare for the possibility of uncertainty. Results may not come in right away, and that's okay. We live in a democracy, and that means we have processes in place to ensure that every vote is counted. It's important to be patient and trust the system. Yes, there may be moments of tension, but let's not allow that tension to turn into anger or hostility. Instead, let's stay engaged and informed, waiting for the results to come in with a sense of hope and optimism. And once the results are announced, regardless of whether your candidate won or lost, let's take a moment to reflect on what it means to be part of this democratic process. Winning and losing are part of any competition, but what matters most is how we respond. Let's commit to maintaining the peace, to engaging in respectful dialogue, and to supporting one another as we move forward. Remember, we're all in this together, and the strength of our nation lies in our ability to come together, even in the face of disagreement. So, as we head into this election season, I want to leave you with this thought. Voting is more than just a right. It's a privilege. It's an opportunity to shape our future and to stand up for what we believe in. Let's embrace that privilege with open hearts and open minds. Let's encourage one another to participate, to engage, and to make our voices heard. And when the dust settles and the results are in, let's remember that we are all Americans, united in our pursuit of a better tomorrow. Thank you for being part of this conversation, and thank you for considering the importance of your vote. Let's go out there and make a difference together.